Welcome 2024. Got some exciting stuff for you. The computer models are in for this morning, and they're different. Even the GFS has the storm, the main storm, the blizzard, going a little further south, and so the bullseye has moved on that one. And, we have three different solutions for the second storm. I'm going to show you the first storm, the second storm, and there's even a storm behind that, which we don't know much about yet. But this is the biggest way to see the difference. So I'm just going to go straight to the punchline, and we'll pull up the Canadian. This is the snow depth across the country on January 11th. And so when you look at this, and I can't do a pointer on the way I have this set up, but you see the bullseye is basically Nebraska into Iowa on this second storm. And, moving up into Wisconsin and off the lakes in Michigan, we're talking a foot of snow, basically, give or take, on this solution. Now, there's also a lot of snow on the East Coast, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, again, over a foot of snow, according to this model. Even you in northern New Jersey, and also into Connecticut, Massachusetts, it's a mass amount of snow. When we pull up the Euro, well, things shifted a little bit south in the Midwest, didn't they? So in the plains, instead of the bullseye being Nebraska, Iowa, we're looking more at Kansas and Missouri, and then a line of that deeper snow moving right through Chicago and Illinois, and then lesser amounts, but still pretty good snows for Michigan, and lesser amounts for New Jersey, and it shifts a little bit south. And then you see some pretty good snows for West Virginia and Virginia on this European model. Now we go to the GFS, and this is the one I've been showing you over the last few days. The GFS yesterday had the bullseye in Iowa. This one has shifted south. In fact, further south than the other two. So now we're looking at Kansas and Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle, north of Amarillo, north of I-40. We're also seeing good snows for southern Missouri, and then it gets really deep when you get into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Look out if this comes true. And especially like parts of West Virginia into southern Pennsylvania. This is like 2 feet of snow in spots. Wow. Northern New Jersey, you're in the part of the bullseye on this one too, with nearly 20 inches of snow. Also for New York City, which hasn't seen a lot of snow in a couple of years. So these are the different solutions right now on the snowfall depth. January 11th, a lot, can happen in the next 10 days, 10, 11 days. But let's kind of go through the models and take a look and see what they're thinking. We're back to the GFS, and we're starting on, excuse me, January 3rd here. I don't know how I jumped to January 3rd, but we're watching right here, this area in Texas with some thunderstorms there. And just watch that move through Louisiana with some very heavy rain, while as another system moves onshore in California with mountain snows and rain at the lower elevations with some embedded thunderstorms with that. These are kind of the two games in town. This storm continues on the southern trek, hugging the Gulf Coast, with some lighter rain, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and some heavier rain along the coast. Snow moving into Nevada, southern Oregon now, and also snow in some of the southern California mountains with this. A little bit of light snow up here in the Great Lakes. As we move forward in time, we're now January 4th. The system kind of gets its act together offshore. And then we have another low developing in Arizona, with some mountain snows in Arizona, lowland rains, Tucson about here, so it looks like maybe some snow for Mount Lemmon, but some rain in the valley. And then we move forward. Let's get to the 5th. You see the snow spreading northern New Mexico. This storm leaving us out to sea. And then we'll see what happens here as we get into the 5th. You see this area of showers and thunderstorms busting out now for parts of Texas. A little bit of snow up here in alpine, higher elevations of the Texas Bend. Big Bend country. Another storm moving onshore, Pacific Northwest. Rain on the coast, snow in the mountains and east. And watching showers and storms moving into Louisiana, Some heavy rainfall there as another low develops. Now watch this one. This gets really interesting. So Louisiana getting soaked, Mississippi getting soaked, also into Alabama. And then the storm in the Pacific Northwest dumping some good snows in California, mountains. Now as this low develops, it strengthens. We see some rain moving into Georgia, trailing through Florida. This system dumping some snow in the Intermountain West. And as we move, we see snow developing on the north side of this storm as it gets stronger, 992 millibars, with those isobars getting closer together. So some wind here for Tennessee. And that is wind and snow for parts of Kentucky, Indiana, and then looks like a little bit of snow for Ohio and Illinois. And as the storm continues, further to the east, showers and thunderstorms with snow behind it. And then this storm is the second one, and we'll watch it sink south into Arizona. Snow in the north, rain in the south in Arizona, snow up in Utah. And then as it continues to develop southward, we get some interesting, some areas in southern Arizona looking at snow. Boot Hill of New Mexico looking at snow. Is this still snowing snow around El Paso? We're on the 8th now of January. This is the morning of the 8th. And we've got showers busting out in Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas. Snow now developing in Nebraska and where I live here in western Iowa. This again is the afternoon, evening of the 8th, moving into the 9th. And this storm starts to strengthen. Remember, the GFS now has the storm further south. So some storms in Oklahoma, and we're starting to see some heavy precipitation, mixed precipitation in Missouri with thunderstorms out ahead. Also on this run, we showed this low getting really deepened and really high winds. Still some strong winds, but not as bad. So I don't know if we're at blizzard conditions here in Missouri. It doesn't quite look like it. But lighter snow up where I am, and then in Minnesota and eastern Nebraska. And the heavier snow is now in Missouri. And look at Ohio and Indiana getting hit hard with heavy snow. And that heavy snow tracks into Chicago, the lighter snow staying north. And then we see some heavier snow now moving into New York, et cetera, as it moves offshore. So that is the GFS. Let's see if we can pull up. Let's try, I don't know, the European. European doesn't go out as far, but let's see what the European has to say. We'll go faster. Just keep an eye. That's the first storm moving through the southeast. Second storm forming. And this is showing more snow in central Tennessee, heavy snow. Also more eastern Kentucky. And the rain and snow. And see, there's really some strong winds here too. So places like New Jersey, there's some very heavy snow in southern New Jersey with some strong winds too. And light snow for Pennsylvania. And then this storm, again, taking the southern route, very strong. This is the strength of yesterday's GFS and way south on the European model. So still light snow in Iowa and Kansas. Heavy rain going on in Missouri and Illinois. And then that changes to heavy snow and lots of wind. So this could be a blizzard for Missouri, according to the European, and also up into Chicago, Rockford, Illinois, parts of central Illinois. And then the snow starts to lighten up as you get into Wisconsin. But these are very strong winds with this system as depicted by the European. And you see all the rain and thunderstorms out ahead of it. And then it lifts up to the north into Canada. Now, let's see if I can pull up the Canadian. I have to look. All right, here's the Canadian. And see what we have here. So there's the first storm for the Gulf Coast. Second storm. We've got some showers and storms. This is the 6th of January. Some ice here in North and South Carolina and northern Georgia, and a little bit of snow in Kentucky and Tennessee, Paducah and the Kentucky Lakes region, getting a little bit of snow here. And then this turns into more snow for western Tennessee and much of Kentucky, with also some ice thrown in there. Kentucky, and then in West Virginia, heavy snow in parts of Virginia, and also some heavy snow in Pennsylvania. Now, the plains storm on the Canadian is further north, similar to yesterday's GFS run, with some heavy snow now moving into Omaha, southwestern Iowa, pretty close to where I am with some of this heavier snow. The winds not quite as strong as we were showing you yesterday on the GFS, but a lot of snow for Iowa and northern Illinois into Wisconsin, and also Nebraska the northern parts of Kansas on this particular model getting hit with snow. But the heaviest snow, we're looking at Iowa, northern Illinois, and southern Wisconsin, and then moving into Michigan. Some pretty good snows here for Pennsylvania and New York as well, with rain as you head further south. And then it lifts into Canada, and we're done. And there's another system behind it. It's too far out to really get into. So we have three models and three solutions. So which way will it go? We'll just have to keep an eye out. You know, when you're talking stuff that's more than a week out, which you're looking for trends, you're looking for consistency in model runs within models and between the models. And if the models can start coming into an agreement with themselves and with each other, then we have more confidence in the forecast. Right now, the forecast is kind of all over the place. Looks like we have at least a couple snowstorms and then another one behind that, with, again, rain for the southeast and some, thunderstorms. So we'll keep an eye on all these model runs and see if we can get some consistency, but just keep an eye to the weather. 5th and 6th, Tennessee, Kentucky, you might be looking at some snow perhaps. Around the 9th, Iowa, I'm hoping for a blizzard. Maybe just me. But, could be some heavy snow for Iowa, Nebraska, or Kansas, Missouri, or Oklahoma will get in on that as well around the 9th. So keep an eye on all of that. Crazy. Happy New Year. Hope you're having a great year. And so far, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.